Good morning, everybody. How we doing? We're talking football, because what else? It's August. I told you yesterday, every single day from here on in, it's football, 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 more football. And we got to keep talking about New York baseball. I mean, maybe you guys are getting sick and tired of it. And like I told you in the beginning of this whole experience, this DaveTalksSports Podcast experience, it's not just New York. I talk about everything. But right now, today, August 8th, 6:13 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the teams to talk about in baseball are the Mets and the Yankees. That's right, the Yankees. The Yankees who have so many injuries, it's ridiculous, and they keep winning. And we're going to get to that. The Mets who also keep winning. We'll get to that. But first, football. So, today's Thursday, as I mentioned, August 8th, 6:14 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You join me on my way home from CBS Sports Radio Network, from Manhattan, downtown Manhattan, to my house on Long Island. So, away we go. Yesterday, I sat still on the side of the road, so we didn't enjoy any driving escapades, adventures, whatever you want to call them. There's always something. There's always someone trying to kill us, trying to run us off the road, and just people who've lost their damn minds. But so far, so good. So, a lot to talk about, a lot to chew on, a lot to digest for the upcoming NFL season. I mean, I think as fans and as spectators and people who maybe want to make predictions and, think we know what's going to happen, we have too much left in our minds of last year. Now, for some teams that works because the Patriots' success carries over. All right, the Saints' success for the most part carries over. And I think you will see that with the likes of the Rams and maybe the Chiefs. So I think you're going to see that carry over for the upper echelon of NFL teams. But every year we kind of look back at last year. We mix in the seasoning that is the free agent, the off-season additions, and the top draft picks in the NFL, and we say, okay, there might be some minor movement, maybe there's some injuries, maybe there's some major things that happen, but we don't modify what happened last year all that much, and we say, oh, we know what's going to happen this year, and then boom, right in your face, everything blows up, and a team goes from worst to first. A team that not only was last place in a division last year, but a team that's projected to be last in a division this year wins the division. Now, I think there's some teams that we can say there's no chance in hell that that's going to happen. And really, without knowing the teams, without talking about specific teams, this is how the NFL works every single season. There's the elite 4 or 5 teams that are going to win 11, 12, and 13 games. There's the bottom of the barrel, who the teams are going to win 2, 3, 4, 5 games. And then there's everybody else. And the majority of the league is somewhere between 6 and 10 and 10 and 6. And it's just a bounce this way, a bounce that way. And, what would your record have been? Blah, blah, blah. We don't do woulda, coulda, shouldas here. We don't do that. But that's where the majority of the league is. So I'm telling you, before I get to my thoughts, my predictions, who I think, I'm just letting you know, you got to think about the concept. There's going to be a team that was either bad last year or is projected to be bad this year that's not going to be bad. I don't know who it is yet, but it's going to happen. And there's a team that you think is going to win 10 or 11 games. They're not going to. And maybe you look at the Bears from last year, and they won 12 games. The Bears were 12-4 last year. But maybe Mitch Trubisky takes a step back instead of that step forward that everybody thinks. You look at Jameis Winston's 2 first years of his career. He played okay, played pretty well. Second year, he took a step forward. And you said, okay, this is a talented, athletic guy. He's got receivers to throw to. The team as a whole wasn't that bad. Maybe he's going to take a step forward in his third year. It's just that's the straight line going up. And then he fell off a cliff because the team's not that good and he's not that good and he makes a lot of mistakes. Throws a lot of picks. So sometimes we think that, and here's our first escapade of the day. I'm running across the street without looking. That's never a good idea in Manhattan. I'm running across the street without looking. This guy could have just gotten absolutely jacked up by the van that's in front of me. But I guess today was his lucky day. He's still alive. He's running back across the street. Here he goes. Good luck. I say this a lot. Most people are stupid. And it's true. And I'm actually surprised that you don't hear more stories of just everyday people just getting hit by a bus, getting hit by a car. I'm not saying I'm rooting for that. Don't twist my words. I'm just saying that a lot of people are stupid. So how is it that you cross the street like that and you don't get hit by this van that's in front of me? Like, how is that not a headline more often in the news or on TV? I mean, how is it possible that certain people make it through the day unscathed? Do we believe in luck? Do we believe in the universe? I don't want to get too deep here. We got to talk about football, but does the universe look out for these people? I don't know. But on that note, set the stupidity to the side and let's get back to the NFL. So I think we're going to go division by division, and not just today because I don't have enough time today, but over the next couple of days and into next week and the next coming weeks, I'm going to give you all my predictions. I'm going to give you who's going to win every division, who's going to be a surprise, who's going to win certain awards. I'm going to give you all my predictions, and it's just too much to do in one show. And I'm going to give you everything I got. And at the end of the year, because I'll still be doing this, I'll come on here and I'll tell you when I'm right, and I'll gloat, and I'll be cocky and confident, and when I'm wrong, I'll be the first one to tell you I was wrong. And they're predictions. We can't predict the future, but we think we know what's going to happen. So let's start with the New York teams. I'm a Jets fan, so let's start with the AFC East. Now, I think that the Jets are going to take a step forward from last year. I think Sam Darnold is going to take a step forward and get better, show progress. But he's also dealing with a new scheme, a new coach, a new offensive system, so I think it's going to take him a minute. Plus, the schedule is hard to begin the season. So I think that the Jets are an 8-8 team. They're destined to finish a distant second in this division to none other than my least favorite team in the history of sports, the New England Patriots. The New England Patriots will win their 17,000th AFC East title. It's just ridiculous. 42-year-old Tom Brady, who just got a freaking contract extension, they're going to win the division again. And it drives me absolutely up a wall. But as you heard my episode a couple days ago, and this is episode number 36 of the Dave Talk Sports Podcast right here on the Dave Talk Sports YouTube channel, where you like to subscribe down here somewhere and leave plenty of comments. Tell me who you think is going to win the AFC East and the NFC East, because that's who we're getting to next. I want to know what you think. Also, find me on Twitter at DaveEttinger2. And on my Facebook page and website, both named Dave Talk Sports. So, I hate Tom Brady, but I respect him. I hate the Patriots and Bill Belichick, but I respect them, and I understand just how unbelievably good they are. And this is not the year that any of the above fall off a cliff. I know that Tom Brady has no receivers right now. Edelman's not on the field. Gronk is, for now, retired. They got some running backs for once, but they have no receivers right now. None. Nobody that you've ever heard of before. So, how does he do it? He's that good. The coach is that good. He's probably the best coach of all time. The quarterback is that good. He's definitely the best quarterback of all time. That's how they do it. So AFC East goes to the Patriots. They probably win. I got to look at their schedule again. Minimum 11, probably 12 games. Jets finish a distant second, winning 8 games. Bills, they got a good defense. Maybe Josh Allen's okay. They're not that good. They're winning 6 games. And the Dolphins are going to be one of the worst teams in the league. If they play Ryan Fitzpatrick over Josh Rosen, they're morons. Josh Rosen, I'm not saying he's the answer, but you traded for him. He was a top 10 pick, highly touted quarterback out of UCLA. Just put him on the field. I love this, you trade for a guy, you draft a guy in the first round or 2, and you don't put him on the field. Put him on the field. You never know how good somebody is until you put him in actual game action. I don't care how bad they look in practice. Put them on the field. Let them feel the NFL pressure. You'll find out really quick if they can handle it. So put Josh Rosen on the field. Let him win 4 games. But maybe he looks good and shows some flashes, some signs of the quarterback that everyone thought he was going to be. Miami, do that. So that's the AFC East. I think if we can look even farther into the future, excuse me, I think I'm about to have my first sneeze. Wow. Excuse me. Yeah, I was going to say my first sneeze in the history of the DaveTalksSports Podcast. I got into episode number 36 before the first sneeze in the podcast. And considering I do 20 minutes every day, oh boy, it's a lot of minutes before a sneeze. Anyway, let's look even farther into the future. I think that Tom Brady and the Patriots, even though, yes, Father Time's undefeated, but so far Tom Brady is undefeated in terms of him declining. He's just seemingly never going to retire. But I think the progression of Sam Darnold and the Jets, and whatever free agents they get next offseason. Now, I don't want to look past an entire season, but again, I think they're a distant second this year. I think next year, that's the year that the Jets win the AFC East. 2020, baby. Let's do it. Now, I'm not saying they're a Super Bowl team. I'm not saying that they'll be favorites in the AFC. They'll have to deal with Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. They'll have to deal with the Chargers, assuming Phillip Rivers is still on the field as well. Maybe the Texans become one of the better teams in the AFC for years to come. Maybe Andrew Luck stays healthy and the Colts. So there's a lot of good teams out there that I think can have some longevity. But I think that that's the year, next year, that the Jets win 10 or 11 games and the Patriots come back to earth and only win 8 or 9. And then after that, Tom Brady decides to retire. And that'll be one of the happiest days of my sports career. So that's the AFC East. Let's switch sides. Still in New York, still in the East, but let's switch to the NFC East. Now, we'll kind of start from the bottom up here, because I think this is a tight division with a lot of interesting aspects to it. Let's start with the Giants. I think this is one of the worst teams in football. Add on top of that all the wide receiver injuries. The fact that they're going to start with Eli Manning on the field and he sucks. He wasn't even that good when he was in his prime. We could talk about that another day. One of the most overrated quarterbacks in the history of the NFL. I know he's got 2 Super Bowls. I get it. But Eli Manning is not that good. Going to go in the Hall of Fame. Should go in right first ballot, no problem. He has 2 Super Bowl rings that I can't take away from him, but he's just not that good. Anyway, is declining. Still, he's old. The offensive line, well, Nate Solder's not as bad as he played last year. This is not a great offensive line. And outside of Saquon Barkley, they have absolutely nothing to write home about. So, I don't know if you do, but you should see Daniel Jones, the number 6 pick in the draft, on the field sometime by mid-season. Let him play at least 8 games and see what you got with him as well. But knowing that the Giants have this inability to let go of Eli Manning, this inability to just cut ties because he's like your all-time great, the 2 Super Bowls, the winning, that I get it, but you got to move on. You got to move on. Listen, Peyton Manning moved on from the Colts. Now, maybe that wasn't a great decision because he came back from the neck surgeries and he won a Super Bowl. Okay, but Joe Montana moved on. Some debris in the road. Man, I don't know what that is. Looks like a sign just shattered. Oh, little pieces hitting my car. That's what I want. Interesting. I don't know what it was. Something like exploded on the Kosciuszko Bridge. I don't know what it was. Anyway, so I think the Giants win 4 games this year. I've looked at the schedule. It's not that easy. I just think they're going to be really, really bad. Okay, now, Redskins. Going to finish in 3rd. I told you we're going backwards on this one. Bottom up. I think that the Redskins are another stupid franchise. Bad ownership. Bad leadership. You draft Dwayne Haskins. Oh, you luck into Dwayne Haskins because the Giants are stupid enough not to take him. He's got all the tools to be a good quarterback in the NFL. I don't get why people hate this guy. But is he going to play right away? Same problem with Miami. Is he going to be on the field? Or are they going to play Colt McCoy or Case Keenum? Guys you already know who they are and how good they are. Play him over Dwayne Haskins. It would make no sense. Same way it would make no sense to play Ryan Fitzpatrick Fitzmagic over Josh Rosen. These things would make no sense. So I think Dwayne Haskins doesn't see the field till mid-season either, which is stupid. And I think they win 6 games. Now, Cowboys are very interesting. I think if they're full strength, full health, no holdouts, they win this division. They have a great defensive team. Dak's just good enough if he has Zeke. And while Amari Cooper is not the number 1 receiver that he looked like last year at the end of the year when he got traded to Dallas, he's still a good weapon. Jason Witten coming back out of retirement, out of the booth because he can't read, write, or speak. Good decision for him to come back to football, but he doesn't have anything left either. So I think right now with the holdouts and the drama and the who's going to be the running back, I think this team wins 8 games still, but they're just middle of the road. And I think the Eagles, by default, assuming Carson Wentz stays healthy, win 10 games and win this division. I think it's going to be a weaker division. It's not when all these teams could win 7, 8, 9, 10 games and they kind of beat each other up like you saw a couple of years ago. I think you're getting some pretty poor play out of the NFC East. Now, players you want to watch in each of these divisions, obviously Tom Brady. I told you Sam Darnold's going to take a big step forward. This is back to the AFC East. I don't love Josh Allen. He doesn't have many weapons. He can move a little bit and run a little bit for a quarterback, and I think he likes to do that a little bit too much. Likes to try to leap over people a little bit too much. I think he's going to get himself hurt that way. Zay Jones is, looks like a good young receiver, but not anything to write home about. I don't love the weapons that you got to look at there. I think Le'Veon Bell for the Jets is going to have a monster year. He's going to be relied on in a big way. I think he's going to get as many touches as he can handle, and after a year off, he's going to be fresh and ready to go. Saquon Barkley also getting all he can handle. So hopefully they don't put 8 in the box and stuff the run and then force him to be a receiver, and he can kind of be the best of both worlds. Because when he bounces a ball to the outside as a running back, it's hard to catch, hard to run down and bring down because he's a big boy with a lot of speed. Again, I think in the NFC East, I think you want to see Carson Wentz stay healthy, see how good he can play, and then the Cowboys, who's holding out, who's on the field. Zeke is one of the best running backs in the league. Amari Cooper, I think, is wildly overrated, and Dak Prescott is just not that good. Cannot take a team anywhere by himself. Very, very inaccurate, beyond 10 yards down the field. And I think that this is just going to be a weakened NFC East. So, Patriots win the AFC East. Jets miss the playoffs, finish 8-8. I think Eagles, assuming Wentz's health, 10-6. Win the NFC East, and no wild cards coming out of the NFC East unless Zeke, Dak, and Amari Cooper are all on the field and the defense stays healthy. Then they can sneak into the NFC wild card. Now, I told you we were going to talk about New York baseball today, but unfortunately I ran out of time. So we'll see if they keep winning. But as of now, the Mets and the Yankees have both forgotten how to lose. Yankees have won 8 in a row. Mets have won 6 in a row. Mets are the best team in baseball since the All-Star break, record-wise. But the schedule's about to get harder. Same with the Yankees. All these injuries have piled up, and they've been playing the Orioles. I could beat the Orioles by myself. So we'll talk about New York baseball tomorrow. Like I mentioned, we're going to go division by division. Every day I'm giving you 2 divisions, my thoughts, record predictions, who's going to be a player to watch on the offensive side of the ball, and we'll get to the defensive side of the ball when we have more time as well. So, this has been another episode of the Dave Talk Sports Podcast. This was episode number 36, August 8th, Thursday morning, 6:34 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you like the football. Hope you love the football. And you get preseason football tonight. I will be watching this much. But if you're watching and you're into it, be my guest. It's all yours. Till tomorrow, enjoy your sunny, beautiful Thursday. See you, everybody.